Hi there, thank you for joining me. So today I would like to offer you an energy clearing session around the area of ending the cycle of abuse. So we're going to be shifting out old patterns, belief systems, emotions and energies that keep you locked in that cycle of abuse. Hello Lorena, hi Awana, welcome everybody. Where are you all joining me from today? So to receive the changes, all you have to do is say yes. I am going to be going into a state of meditation and I'm going to be intuitively sensing the old energies, beliefs, shifting out. So all you have to do to receive it is simply say yes and you will receive. Hi Jasna. Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi Aina. Hi Anita from London. Hi Dora. So guys, if you know anyone who would benefit from this clearing, please do share the video now before we get started. All right, so first of all, a key to breaking the cycle of abuse is to begin to stop abusing yourself. And here's the thing, when we have experienced abuse, often what we do is we learn to abuse ourselves. And this abuse could show up in many different ways. It could manifest through addiction. It could manifest through eating disorders, self-harm, and psychological abuse. So when we have experienced abuse, and there are so many people who have experienced emotional abuse, psychological abuse, and they have no idea. And it's something that has become very, very normal for them. So it becomes their natural state, their natural way of being. And in my 12 years doing this work, I have seen it time and time again, where people experience a high level of emotional abuse within their family. And this involves being made wrong, being judged, being criticized, being brainwashed to believe that there's something wrong with you, that you're defective, and none of it is actually true. And the abuse can come in many different forms. So today we're going to focus more on the psychological end. So when we look at it from this perspective, it can be very noticeable when you are on the receiving end of this. But sometimes it's very, very hidden. And more often than not, it's actually very hidden. So it could come in the form of put downs, remarks, being told you're wrong, it being implied that you're wrong. And, you know, a lot of communication is actually non-verbal, a lot of it's energetic. So a lot of it can be energetic abuse. So a lot of energy being sent to you, a lot of energy being thrown at you. It can come in the form of looks of disapproval. So it can manifest in many different ways. And it's really designed to eat away at your sense of self. And when you're on the receiving end of this, often what happens is you come to believe that you are wrong, you are defective, there's something wrong with you. So you effectively get brainwashed to believe that you're rotten to the core, really, is one way of summing it up. So it's a belief that you form about yourself, but actually it can be a collection of belief systems that you form about yourself, and it becomes more of a way of being. So an identity, so you actually begin to believe that that is who you are. It's not who you are, it's just how you perceive yourself, and this perception is based upon the way you've been treated. It's also based upon the projections that people project at you. So much energy constantly being projected at us, and often we pick it up and we think it's ours when it's not ours. And this is particularly true for people who are very sensitive. They will often be aware of a feeling, a thought, and they assume it's theirs. They assume that they're thinking it or they're feeling it. And here's the thing, when you assume that it's yours, often what happens is it actually gets stuck in your body. So a lot of what you've actually been thinking was you may not have been you. So on that note, can we just start to clear out everything that you thought was you, that was never you in the first place? All of the energies that were projected at you that you thought were you that weren't you. And here's the thing, when you own something as yours, when it's not yours, everything is energy. So you actually begin to create your reality based on this. Because our external reality, what shows up, is showing up based on the energies that we have, the belief systems that we're carrying. And these could be our own energies, or they could be someone else's, and also the choices that we make. So it would be really nice just to clean all of that out so that you can actually recognize what is you and what is not you. Because there could be a large proportion of what you have identified yourself as that was not you. So what I'd like to do is I would just like to wash that out now. So if you'd like to receive it, simply say yes. Okay, so I'm sensing a lot shifting, but also what I'm sensing is for some of you, you're actually holding on to it. And I'm able to perceive why you're holding on to it. So the sense I'm getting is for at least one person on the call, or on the live, I should say, there's a fear if I let go of this perception of me, it's going to hurt me. So often what happens when we've experienced abuse, we align with the perception excuse me, of the person who is being abusive towards us, and we take it on as true. Now that can be a survival strategy. That could be something that was very helpful in situations where you had little or no choice. So it could be in situations where if you've grown up in a home where there's a lot of abuse and you can't get out of it because you're a child. That's one instance. So often one way we survive that is we take on the perception of the person who's being abusive. We align with it and we begin to see ourselves through the eyes of that person, through their feelings, through their projections, through their ideas. We see ourselves through a faulty lens. So we can easily take this lens off. What we're going to do is we're just going to go back to those points where all of this abuse began, and we're just going to allow your energy to know that that was a different time, because to our subconscious mind, there's no past, there's no present, and there's no future. That's not correct. I should say there's no past and there's no future. There's only the present. Something may have happened to you 20 years ago, but your mind doesn't know. Your mind is experiencing as though it's happening right now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to allow your mind to understand that it's all finished. It's over. Because when your mind can get that, then there's no need to be in alignment with that person anymore and their perception. And you're able to take off the projections, the ideas, the faulty perceptions that you have of you that were never you, that you've been creating your reality on. And here's how this works. So you take on all of these perceptions of you, these projections, these ideas, you form belief systems about who you think you are that you're not. And this collection of energy is really an energy of I'm unworthy of existing, I'm unworthy of being, I'm nothing, I'm worthless, I have no value. So this is who you think you are, and then you make decisions based on this. You make relationships decisions, business decisions. You base your choices on these old ideas, on these old reference points, and you don't really create very much. But when you can let go of these faulty beliefs, ideas, and perceptions of who you think you are, and underneath it is who you truly are, the real you, you can see who you are. And the truth is underneath that is the energy of light. That's the real energy that, your truest self. So would you like to let all of that go and be able to have an accurate perception of who you truly are? So if you'd like that, say yes. The other thing is when we've experienced that type of trauma, there's an energy often of feeling powerless and feeling helpless, and it gets stuck within us. So I'd like to just clear that out and show you that you can live without feeling helpless, because the truth is you are powerful. Your essence is power. And that is the truth. But it's the feelings of feeling helpless, the feelings of having no choice, that is actually masking your true essence. So I'd like to just erase everything that does not allow you to be able to know who you truly are, your true essence, your true power. Because when you know that and you're in your power, no one or anything can actually hurt you. So would you like that now? So within all of that, there's a lot of labels I'm perceiving, a lot of labels I'm seeing. So labels that were put on some of you that you thought were true. So can we release all of those labels? So just say yes to have that release. The other thing is often we can confuse certain things. So if you've received criticism or abuse by people who are supposed to show you love, like your parents or perhaps other family members, what can happen is, particularly when we're children, is we can confuse things. So we confuse love with criticism, we confuse love with hate, we confuse love with pain, we confuse love with judgment, we confuse it with many different things. So we think it's one thing, but it's not. And then what happens is you have all these ideas about what love is that it actually isn't. So it could be criticism, pain, judgment, and then you start to love yourself in that way. So we need to clean that out and align you with what real love is, and that you know what it feels like to love yourself, what it looks like, and it's possible. And the truth is that is your true essence. It's the essence of love. So would you like to know that? Okay, good. So a lot shifting out, but I'm also perceiving another pattern coming through. So there's an energy present for some of you on the call where you're not really wanting to let go of the idea that you're wrong. Because there's a feeling or a fear that if you let go of that, someone else is going to have to pay the consequences. So the energy is, I'm going to take it, and if I take it, other family members or people I love and care about will be safe. Can we release that now? So often we'll come to a lot of conclusions about ourselves and our worth and life based on the abuse that are not true. So we're going to just bring in the divine truth for you about all of the conclusions that you came to about yourself, about life, about your worth or lack of worth. We're going to clean them all up so you're in alignment with the divine truth about all of this. There's some feelings of feeling broken coming up, and that is something that is, it can feel true, but it may not be the truth. The higher truth is that you can never be broken. So what we're going to do is we're just going to change all of that energy. We're going to heal it all. Some of you aren't wanting to let go of that. And it's not like a conscious thing, it's more of a subconscious thing, where I'm getting the sense that some of you have actually played this role within your family of being the broken one. Now there must be some kind of gain to that if you want to hold on to it. So I'm sensing, so it's also about if I'm broken, I will be left alone. Okay, so how many of you have that idea, that feeling, I have to be helpless, I have to be in pain, I have to be broken in order to be left alone, because if I'm not, I'll be attacked, I'll be abused, something bad will happen. So we're going to go back to those places, we're going to resolve everything that needs to be resolved there. And we are going to show you that that's no longer necessary. That you know what it feels like to feel safe, alive, secure, happy, joyful, and abundant. And you can have all of that without feeling broken, without feeling victimized. So if you'd like that, just say yes. Okay, there's a lot of old anxiety wanting to release, so we're going to take all that old anxiety out. And we are going to just do a nice healing on your nervous system so that your nervous system is nice and healthy. And we're gonna expand your capacity to cope with stressful situations. Because when we've experienced a lot of this, it can affect our nervous system. And then when stressful things come up, it can put us into a space of feeling like we can't cope, a lot of panic. So we're just going to change that. Expand your capacity to be able to deal with it. And would you like to be able to actually recognize your true strength? You know what that feels like, you know what that looks like. So would you like to know that you can live without psychologically abusing yourself? You can live without gaslighting yourself, which is a tactic which is associated with psychological abuse. Would you like to know that you know what that feels like, what it looks like, and it's possible? Sometimes it just becomes a habitual pattern. You have been used to doing it for so long, so it's something that you do. So can we change that? And let's bring in something else for you to do. So how about we open up the energy of what it is to live in joy, have space, have peace, have abundance. And let's just have you feel good about having that, and it to be the new familiar. Because our mind often wants to hold on to what's familiar because it's familiar, it feels safe. And often there can be a real fear of the unknown because it's not familiar. So what we're going to do is we're just going to flip things a little bit so that we're going to shift out the energy of abuse, and we're going to make the energy of ease, space, peace, abundance familiar. Now it's going in for some of you, but there's also an energy coming up of I can't trust it because every time I've trusted it before, something bad happens. So that's just an old pattern and it can be changed. So how about we change that for you now? When you've experienced abuse, it eats at your self-esteem. It eats at your sense of self, and you start to believe that you have no value or worth, nothing, none of it's true. So let's take that away and align you with the truth so you know your value. You know what it feels like to value yourself. You can value yourself, and you live your life valuing yourself. You can be kind to yourself, and you know what it feels like to receive kindness from others, and that it can be genuine. So there's also an energy of, if people are kind to me, they might be manipulating me. And of course that could be true, but it's not always true. So all the times where that were the case, let's show you that's over. And let's show you that you can actually have very clear intuition so that you can read a person immediately and you know what their intentions are. And that you can trust your intuition, so you don't need to hold on to the old energies, your old experiences, the old pains and traumas as a reference point. Because often the mind will hold on to that and think, well, if I hold on to it, I'm safe. I can recognize it. I can identify it again. But what if you don't need that? What if you could just have razor sharp, clear intuition? How's everyone doing? Just looking at your comments here. Hello, Lorena. Okay, so let's just do that for you. The other thing is this can often be the root of depression when you have lived in this state for so long. And depression can be, it's really about being repressed, you being repressed. So the energy of depression can be a collection of old feelings, thoughts, emotions, of feeling like you're trapped, feeling like you have no choice, feeling like there's no way out. And you carry that with you, and often those emotions get stuffed down, and we do things to try to avoid it. So it could be you you eat, or you rely on a substance, and that is your way of actually temporarily disconnecting from the emotion. So it's a way to actually gain release. So we're just going to shift that, we're going to change that, and all the old emotions, all the old feelings, the thoughts, and everything that you've been carrying, repressing and suppressing, let's shift it out now. And let's bring in the knowing that something else is possible for you. Even if you've lived with this day in, day out for your whole life, something else is possible. And let's align you with the higher truth about all of that. So have a look at your comments. Okay, so sometimes when we're in difficult situations and we feel like we have no way out, or there may not actually be a way out. So if you've experienced abuse, often what can happen is you start to tell yourself stories. You start to justify why they do what they do. Again, it can be a way to cope. So you tell yourself they do this because they love me. You make excuses. So all of the excuses, all of the stories and everything that you told yourself, would you be willing to let them go now? And would you be willing to know truth? Because here's the thing, I know a lot of you are intuitives here on the call. And when you have those stories that you tell yourself as a way to cope, as a way to deny truth, it's something that blocks your intuition. So it's important to let that go. So let's show you that. The other thing then about the emotions is part of why you're escaping the emotions or attempting to escape the emotions is because you believe they're too much. So can we release the energy of your emotions are too much? So if you'd like that, say yes. And I'm wondering, was there anything that, you learned from this? And if there was, let me know what that was. Another hallmark of psychological abuse is you are told you're wrong. You are told things that lead you to question your reality. So you begin to question what is true and what is real. And often you'll be told that you said something you didn't say, you done something that you didn't do, and it's all designed to make you question your reality. And then there's an agenda behind that too, though, because it's something that is designed so that you give up what is true for you, so that the person who's being abusive has control and dominance over you. So can we just undo those effects now? And can we show you that you know what is true for you? You know that you can live without aligning to someone else's reality. And can we just show you that you know what it feels like to be in charge of your own life, and that you can feel safe, secure, alive, have peace in your life without needing to align with someone who has hurt you? So would you like to know that you can trust your intuition going forward? You know what that feels like, what it looks like. So Elena says, stand in my truth and trust myself and be patient. Okay, so let's show you that. Let's complete those lessons so you know that you can do that and you can trust yourself and you know what that feels like and what it looks like. And Aina says not to put up with it. Okay, so how much abuse are you holding on to remind you not to put up with it going forward? So would you like to know that you can value yourself and you can respect yourself and you can say no to abuse on all levels without needing to hold on to the old pain, the old trauma, the old energies as a reminder? And we're just going to send energy through your chakras, and we're going to heal the throat chakra, all of the unexpressed emotions, all of the things that you wanted to say but you couldn't say that got locked in your body, can we just shift it out now? And would you like to know that you can live in your power? Crystal says, I can be accepted and be considered. Well, is that a lesson? Is that a lesson, Crystal, or is that a survival thing? I can be accepted. So everywhere you have learned that you need to put up with abuse to be accepted, can we just change that? And do you really want acceptance from people who treat you so bad? So that's something just to think about. Then to be considered smart enough through abuse. So whenever we have a desire to be considered or perceived in a certain way, often we have a conflicting idea within us that is the opposite of that. So often people who need to be seen as smart, they have an idea that conflicts with that. So I wouldn't say that's a lesson. I would say that that's something else. There's something underlying that. So did you feel smart in your life, or were you brainwashed to believe you were something else? So let's show you that you can speak up for yourself, and you know when to, because what happens, I'm just looking at your comments here, what happens when you've experienced abuse, often you keep everything in for a long time, and then you start to speak up, and then there can be like a rigidity towards that, and you have to speak up for every single thing, which isn't helpful for you either. So let's show you that you know when to speak up, you know, because we don't want it coming from a space of underlying trauma and a space of reactivity. So we're just going to show you that you know when to, that you have that knowing within you, and to defend yourself. Okay, so that's good to be able to do that. However, within that, is that coming from a space of defensiveness, which when you've experienced abuse, one of the ways you survive is often to defend. So that's just something to look at. So we're just going to do a healing on all the old survival mechanisms that may be running, and all of the trauma and everything underlying it and connected to it. And can we just shift the energy from defense to be? What if we could shift your way of being from defending, fighting? Because those two often go hand in hand. Often when you've experienced abuse, you can submit or you fight. So all of those old ways, submission, fight, defend, can we shift it now? And can we just return you to your natural state, which is be? To just be space, be energy. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Hello, Aman. How are you? Welcome. So guys, let me know how you're doing. There is something that I would love to share with you in case you're interested. So I will be offering a really powerful webinar series which begins on Thursday. And the focus of this series is gaslighting no more, breaking free from the shackles. So this series is really about breaking free from the effects of psychological abuse. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the content of this. I have it here, if that's okay with you. Okay, so when we experience psychological abuse, it can affect us in many ways. It can cause us to lose trust in ourselves. It can make us react in ways that are out of control. It can cause us to identify what is real and what is not real. So we begin to question our reality. And often what happens is we get lost in the energy of the person who is being abusive. And that can often be our way to cope. It can be our way to survive. But here's the thing. If your energy is mixed up with their energy, you're picking up on their feelings, their thoughts, their ideas, and then you make choices based on that. And it's really suffocating you and your true essence. So it's not really the energy that we would like you to be in, because it's not the energy that's in alignment with abundance, ease, flow, good relationships, and whatever else it is that you have been asking for. So I'll just talk a little about this. So gaslighting is a psychological manipulation tool that is used to to encourage people to question themselves. So it's something that people use to gain influence, power, and control. And it's something that creates doubt and destruction, and it stops us from living our life to our fullest potential. And often people who have experienced a lot of this, they just exist, they don't live, they don't thrive. So this is about assisting you in moving from surviving into thriving. It's really, really common. It happens in families, it happens in romantic relationships. It's something that's often, handed down. You might do it yourself, and if you do, don't judge it. You can just look at that as valuable information, because we learn things and we often repeat those things. So this is really about freeing you from that. So devastating ways that gaslighting can manifest is feeling powerless, increased anxiety, loss of trust in yourself, fear of opening up to situations. Often what we do is we build these energetic walls around us to stop anything coming in, because our association with receiving hasn't been abundance, it hasn't been ease, but it's been abuse, it's been pain, it's been trauma. So we create these mechanisms to protect us, but they're not helping anymore. It affects our self-esteem. We often believe we're flawed, defective, unlovable, and we lose touch with our reality. So this is really about bringing you out of that old cycle of abuse. I've been working with this for about 12 years, and it's something that I do specialize in it. It is something that I do specialize in. I've helped thousands of people to break free from the effects of abuse, and I've also worked on it myself to clear all forms of abuse from myself. And there was a time where I was desperately unhappy. I wasn't in my body. I didn't feel anything of my own. I was living in other people's space. I was miserable. And that was my way of being for 25 years, 22 years perhaps. And these are the techniques that I have used and developed over 12 years of experience working with all types of abuse, including breaking free from my own patterns. So if this is something that you have been struggling with and you'd like to move beyond it, I would love to have you on this series. So as I said, it begins on Thursday, and there's an early bird rate that ends tonight. So if you'd like to come and you'd like to receive the early bird rate, please do join me. Lorena has shared the link, so if you'd like to have further information. So then Crystal says, I learned if I have my own opinion, I'm going to go crazy. So you give up your opinion and you align with someone else's reality. So can we shift that out? Is that okay? And that's part of it too. That's part of the gaslighting. They're tactics to make you think you're going crazy. And you start to think you're crazy. You start to think you're the problem. You question your reality. And often within that psychological abuse, what happens is the person who's perpetrating it, they'll say things, they'll goad you to provoke a reaction. And then often what happens is all the old pent up emotions come out. And then they'll tell you you're crazy, and then you start to question, am I crazy? Am I the problem? And that's all part of it. That's all part of the brainwashing. So we can shift that now for you if you'd like. Just looking at your comments. Okay, people are doing good. Okay, so let's just do that for you. Lorena has shared a blog that I recently did on this topic, so you can get that in the chat if you like. Lorena Barros has shared it. She's also shared the link of my upcoming classes, so you can find them there. I will be offering the basic theta healing again on July 3rd, 4th and 5th, and that, if it's not up on my site, it will be up in the next day or so. This course is limited to 20 people, so if you'd like to join, I would encourage you to book as soon as you can. So guys, thank you very, very much, and please do share the video with anyone who would benefit, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye bye for now.